It's hard enough like trying to work a normal job and trying to, support yourself with the little groceries that you can get.
This morning, time for tariffs, how locals are reacting and how they could affect your trip to the grocery store.
Plus, supporting constituents, how local leaders are working to strengthen their service regardless of federal action.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 Now this morning on a Monday. I'm Kyrie Lee.
I'm Chris Stanford. We have a lot to get to this morning. Grammys last night.
I didn't get to watch them.
Beyonce went Album of the Year. How about that? We got all the stuff about the tariffs to break down this morning. And, of course, some weather to talk about.
Yeah, didn't look too bad over the weekend, but let's see how it's going to look heading into your Monday morning. Let's check in now with meteorologist Savannah Brito. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Cooler temperatures are on the way and even some patchy drizzle. Some of that is reaching Dane County, not necessarily flurries because temperatures are in the mid-30s. We're warmer than freezing level. This is rain or a rain-snow mix. The snow mainly going to be accumulating for northern and central Wisconsin, just to our north, but we are seeing a reduction in visibility. Some patchy areas of dense fog. Monroe's down to just half a mile, lighter but still patchy in Madison and Dane County. We're waking up to 4 miles of visibility. Northwestward, though, plenty of 10s, which is full visibility. We'll talk about the big system that'll arrive Wednesday into Thursday coming up.
All right, we'll talk to you then. Well, our top story this hour, President Donald Trump's proposed tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China are set to take effect at midnight. America's top trade partners say that they are planning retaliatory tariffs now while trying to stop the ones President Donald Trump is set to impose.
He plans to force U.S.-based companies to pay 25% extra on imports from Canada and Mexico. The number is 10% for Canadian energy products and Chinese goods. Trump acknowledges potential pain, but says it will be worth it for the end result. He says he wants to reduce trade deficits and secure U.S. borders.
El Rey is a family-run business in Milwaukee that sells all kinds of products from Mexico. We talked with the store manager who says that they're preparing themselves and their customers for whatever the impacts these proposed tariffs may have. And he believes the impact will be widespread.
If a family used to have, let's say, in their budget, $100 to spend, well, now they can only spend $75. As simple as that. This is not going to only impact the Hispanic community, it's going to impact everybody.
Shopper Javier Wakatsi also grew up going to El Rey. He says that the older he gets, the more he's double checking his receipts.
Now I'm actually scared to see everything that's going to get affected. It's hard enough trying to work a normal job and trying to, support yourself with the little groceries that you can get.
Well, Gomez says that El Rey relies on several Mexican products like limes, avocados, and tomatoes, and that's just produce. Of course, President Trump declaring an economic emergency in order to do all of this, and it's also creating those retaliatory tariffs. It's just a whole lot to break down.
Yes, and our consumer reporter, Michelle Renee Quinn, has been looking into this. Michelle Renee, tell us how this will affect consumers.
Chris, Kyrion, consumers are looking at an increase in prices across the board. Data from last year shows the U.S. imported over $151 billion in motor vehicles and parts from Mexico last year. That's also the second largest good we import from Canada, along with $97 billion worth of gas. Last year, the U.S. imported $46 billion worth of agricultural products from Mexico, and that's including food and alcoholic beverages. And the Peterson Institute estimates Trump's tariffs will cost the typical U.S. household over $2,600 a year. But consumers will see this reflected at more than just the grocery store and the gas pump. 99% of shoes sold in the United States are imported, and 75% of toys and sports equipment are imported from China. The chief market strategist at Corpay Cross-Border Solutions says these tariffs could add $272 billion per year to tax burdens. Now, Trump uses tariffs for three primary purposes: to raise revenue, to bring trade into balance, and to bring rival countries to the negotiation table. Economists largely agree that tariffs cause inflation, and Trump said on social media these tariffs are to protect Americans from the major threat of illegal aliens and deadly drugs killing our citizens, including fentanyl. Companies including Target, Walmart, AutoZone, Columbia Sportswear, and others have already suggested they'll pass along the cost of higher tariffs to consumers in the form of higher prices.
And stock futures way down this morning on the news over the weekend. We'll see what happens when the opening bell rings at 8:30. All right, Michelle Renee, thanks for breaking it all down for us.
6:04 now. More than 50 senior level employees at the Department of Education are on paid administrative leave. The agency is the latest to face upheaval amid the administration's efforts to weed out DEI programs within the government and reshape the federal workforce. The union representing the senior workers say the affected employees had been at the department for decades. It says the workers do not hold job titles nor official duties related to DEIA, but included staffers such as civil rights attorneys. It is unclear what steps the union may take to challenge the Trump administration's action.
Local leaders, meantime, are preparing for situations where the federal government may freeze their funding because of efforts to remove DEI. That's despite the White House rescinding an order which would pause federal funding. Dane County Executive Melissa Agard believes that actions like this will not go away, and her team is prepared for that. But she says ultimately it's up to the county to provide high-quality, predictable services to folks.
We're going to have to keep our fingers on the pulse of what's happening in D.C. and that, frankly, is challenging because they don't want to be doing it in a way that is making it easy for us, right? Like there is intentional chaos in how these messages are being delivered to local governments.
Agard adds that her team keeps a constant line of communication with our elected officials in Washington, D.C. She also says that she is making herself available for those in the community.
One person is dead and 3 others are seriously injured after a high-speed chase in Caledonia. It happened on Saturday afternoon. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office says a deputy attempted to stop a vehicle going westbound. The vehicle did not pull over and sped to over 100 miles per hour. The driver then tried to go around an exit ramp, but then rolled over due to its high speed. 2 people were ejected from the vehicle. 1 pronounced dead at the scene. 2 passengers and the driver were transported to the hospital with life-threatening injuries.
Well, heads up here, fire officials in Jefferson County have issued a burn ban. It comes after a brush fire in the town of Oakland. Check out these images. The Fort Atkinson Fire Department says the fire happened on Marsh Road. About 5 acres of marshland set on fire here. Crews faced 2 front fire, 1 north, 1 south of a tree line. No structures were damaged, no injuries reported. The firefighters on the scene say that the fire started when ashes in a burn pit were carried by strong winds to an adjacent marsh.
In more national news now, a memorial has been set up for the victims of the deadly plane crash in Washington, D.C. Visitors gathered along the Potomac River to pay their respects. It comes after the deadly mid-air collision between a passenger plane and a Black Hawk helicopter last Wednesday. There were no survivors. The investigation into the collision continues. The NTSB released new images of investigators working on the river near the Reagan Airport. It includes the recovery of the Black Hawk's flight data and cockpit voice recorder known as the Black Box. The agency says the recorder is in their laboratory in D.C.
6:07 now at the 67th Grammy Awards. Over $7 million was raised for wildfire relief efforts. Big night for Kendrick Lamar and Beyonce. Beyonce won the coveted Album of the Year award after being shut out for the last 4 times she was nominated. She also won Best Country Album. Lamar dedicated his wins to the city of Los Angeles. He took home wins for Record of the Year and Song of the Year.
I have not gotten to see the Grammys yet, but I've seen there were some acts that I do want to see. So
the performances.
Yes, the performances.
Yeah.
I need to go back and watch some of those. I don't necessarily need to see the winners, but the performances, I need to go back and see.
Yeah, it's always a good show. All right, 6:08, let's check in with Savannah, see what's coming up in your first warn forecast.
Hey, good morning. Today's going to be the warmest day out of the next several, and we have a messy system Wednesday into Thursday. We'll talk about what types of precipitation that can bring us here across southern Wisconsin.
And we're live at the Edgewater Hotel this morning with a preview of the Frozen Assets Festival, which officially kicks off today. We're going to talk about the impact here in Madison coming up next live in the 6:08.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
In the 6:08 this morning, today marks the start of the Frozen Assets Festival, a wintertime tradition here in Madison.
Josh Spider is live near Lake Mendota with what this week is all about. Josh, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, we're actually on the ice here at the Edgewater Hotel this morning, the perfect place that you want to be during the Frozen Assets Festival, which officially kicks off here later today. And this is such a week-long celebration, celebrating everything winter here in Madison. James, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good to have you back here from Clean Lakes Alliance, because this is obviously one of our favorite weeks of the winter. Let's talk a little bit about Frozen Assets and the impact here in Madison.
Well, first of all, our lakes are our most best frozen asset, right? So when they're frozen, they're our largest parks. And also, did you know that last year they provided $220 million of economic impact to Madison?
That's just 1 year.
1 year. So over that last 10 years, that's about $2.2 billion. And that's because of things like Frozen Assets and all the wonderful things that we do here. One of the things we're doing new this year is actually we're bringing in the World Ice and Snow Sailing Championship. So we have over about 20 different companies, not companies, people coming from different countries from around the world and going to be out on the lake putting up their big sails and kites. It's going to be a magical week.
What's so cool about the celebration is there really is something for everyone, and you guys have something going on every single day through the entire week.
Yeah, starting tonight, you can come around here to this ice skating rink. We're going to have music, a lot of fun going on, and skate for the lakes. And so if you come out and skate, $3 of your entry is going to go helping towards our lakes, making sure that they're protected for everybody.
You know, we obviously love the lakes here, and it doesn't matter if it's summer, winter, we're going to take advantage because we have such a beautiful landscape here.
Yeah, the really one interesting thing is we have a run walk on the lake coming up on Saturday during the festival, on Saturday, and it's a 5K. You can either run, walk, or maybe you want to skate it because we don't have any snow. So bring your skates down on Saturday and do that 5K right on the lake.
That's kind of the interesting thing this year is we have the ice, but we don't have a lot of snow.
Yeah.
So, which in years past, we haven't even had ice.
Right, so the really neat thing is that you can be able to walk on the lake. It's really thick. It's about 12 to 14 inches thick. Again, bring your skates because there's no snow, so it's a little bit slippery. But we're out here right now on the ice and having a good time. Really encouraging everybody to come down to the Edgewater, do Skate for the Lakes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or come during the day because actually the competition and all these people coming from around the world are going to be out there during the day. So you got to be able to have lunch at the Edgewater State House, come down to the boat house, come out and watch all these people do all these wonderful tricks. Actually, one of the organizing groups that's bringing it is the International Kiting Association. So there's actually Olympians out here doing their magic on the lakes.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So not only is this about celebrating our area lakes, but this is also supporting your guys' mission at Clean Lakes Alliance. And why is it so important to really get behind you guys?
Well, really to change that culture change, right? So we need to reduce the amount of runoff going to our lakes. We need to sink that rain, whether you're in a parking lot and letting that not go into the lake, off your lawn, in agriculture. We got to get that water when it comes down to go into the ground versus washing out into the lake. So it's really trying to change the culture here in Madison. You know, you hear a lot about salt right now, all that salt going off the driveways and off the sidewalks into lakes. That's really bad. So what we want to do, remember, everything that goes down in the ground ends up in the lake. So it's better to put the water in the ground than have it run off.
All the important things. James Ty, thank you so much for being here this morning. You got the skates on. Fortunately, they're a little small for me, and I left mine at home, so otherwise we could have been ripping some circles out here this morning. Guys, if you'd like to learn more about Frozen Assets Festival, just go to the story up on channel3000.com. I got a link with the schedule for the entire week. This is going to be the place to be. And what better view than right here at the Edgewater, guys?
It's gorgeous. A lovely, lovely scene. Always, any time of year, especially though in the winter, it looks gorgeous.
I can't argue with you guys this time. This one, the scene is just right. It makes me want to get out there, actually. I might have to get out there.
Somebody might have to run to Josh's place and grab his skates. I want to see Kyrie
on skates.
Yeah, well, we'll get you both out there this morning.
I haven't been out there since I was probably 12.
There we go.
Ice skating.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, Josh, we'll talk to you in a bit. Hey, Josh is always looking for inspirational stories to share with everybody in the 608. Reach out on social media or email if you have an idea you'd like to see on TV.
Let's check in now, Savannah. Savannah, when's the last time you went ice skating?
Ooh, it's been a long time. Maybe, I guess not super long, but like 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
It was not good. I'm better at skiing than ice skating, surprisingly.
Well, that's a plus.
Yeah, but February winter weather, that's actually on its way. This is the 3rd day of February now. This is our average high and low and about how much rainfall and snowfall we see. This is all data based at the Dane County Regional Airport. By the 15th of the month, that rises 31.15, the high and low. And then by the end of the month, finally back into those mid-30s and then the upper teens for the average high and low. On average, average, though, we see 12.8 inches of snowfall during the month of February. We are going to see some snow across central and northern Wisconsin today, but our chance across southern Wisconsin, that'll hold off until midweek. 37, so temperatures very stagnant through the day. We even are in the mid to upper 30s right now, so that's really where we're going to stay all day long, and then temps fall into the upper teens tonight. Some patchy areas of drizzle this morning. That'll continue. Nothing that's going to lead to any accumulation, maybe a few slick spots, but all the accumulating snow, you can see where that blue is on radar, even around Manitowoc and north of that area across northern and also central Wisconsin. On future track, that's where all of that stays, but patchy drizzle, that remains in the forecast for us across southern Wisconsin, at least through mid to late morning, even potentially into that lunchtime hour. Patchy fog right now, that's the other bigger story. We do have some areas of localized dense fog that's mainly down towards Monroe and Janesville. Here's the difference in the weather models on that Wednesday afternoon, night into early Thursday morning system. This is the European model. You can see completely pink across southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois. That would be freezing rain with ice accumulation. The blue all across northern and central Wisconsin. The other model we like to look at, the global. There's a ton of different weather models. I like the European for my impact, but I do think that we'll see some freezing rain impacts across at least near the area, if not across southern Wisconsin. This has this system a little further south and some snow across southern Wisconsin. So I still think there's going to be an impact locally, whether it be to freezing rain, which is looking more and more likely Wednesday, and then some snow north of here. Temperatures will be right about freezing level. That's why the system's a little on the trickier side. We're dry for a few days and then another system on Saturday.
You could define the Bucs 2025 season so far in one word: streaky. They've had stretches where they couldn't lose and others where they struggled to win. Heading into last night, they were in the latter, having lost 3 of their last 4, trying to change that against the Grizzlies, one of the better teams in the association. Waning seconds of the third, Bucs with a 3-point lead. A.J. Green hucks a prayer. Green beans. The Northern Iowa product has been money for Milwaukee this season, but the 6-point lead that they took into the fourth quarter, it vanished quicker than it appeared. 2 minutes left in the game, and Luke Kennard connects from deep, and the Bucs, they would lose this one 132-119. Wisconsin women's basketball snapped an 8-game losing streak their last time out and did it against a good Michigan team. Their opponent yesterday was Purdue, who's played 10 games in the Big Ten this year and lost all 10 of them. On paper, it's a perfect runway to turning this season around, and we're going to jump right to the fourth quarter. Wisconsin trailing 57-54, and Sarah Williams feeds Carter McRae, making it a 1-point game with the bucket. Less than 10 minutes to go. Williams finished with a game-high 27 points, but the Boilermakers responded to that bucket with a 13-3 run, putting this one way out of reach. Wisconsin loses 84-71, handing Purdue their first Big Ten win. And you're not going to want to miss out on what we've got going on tonight at Pooley's Sports Bar. A live taping of the Wisconsin Huddle with Badger defenseman Ben Dexheimer. You don't want to miss it. The live taping starts at 6:45. That's your morning sports fix. Have a worthwhile week.
A worthwhile week it is. We'll still ahead, a trade that's shaking up the NBA.
We'll talk about it right after this. All right, welcome back. Trending this morning, that huge trade that is shaking up the NBA. Some Dallas Mavericks fans, they are heartbroken. Their team traded away their star guard, Luka Doncic, to the LA Lakers. Of course, it's always the Lakers, right? Fans airing Doncic's number 77 jersey, gathering outside American Airlines Center yesterday to show their unhappiness with the team's move. Some carried a casket, while others carried signs denouncing the trade. One placard called it the worst trade in NBA history. Doncic, 5-time NBA All-Star, MVP, 5-time first team. I mean, he's young, too.
Yeah.
So the Dallas Mavericks, what? They get Anthony Davis and some other players for this too, right?
Yeah, my husband is not. He is
Lakers
upset.
fan.
Yeah, he's a big Lakers fan. Very upset right now, wondering who their big man is going to be without AD right now. So A lot of heartbroken people across the state.
Those are some true Mavericks fans, though, right there with the casket.
The casket, that is ridiculous.
And the flowers.
All right, here's what else is trending in the media this morning. Listen to this. Yeah, Canadian fans booing the U.S. anthem. Toronto Raptors game, it's a trend in Canadian sports arenas where American teams are playing. This similar situation broke out over the weekend in Ontario, in Ottawa, Canada, Calgary, hours after U.S. President Donald Trump made his threat of import tariffs on America's northern neighbor up in Canada a reality. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Mexico's president both ordering retaliatory tariffs. That is all over the headlines this morning and what we're breaking down this morning. It's just from the perspective of outside our borders, just curious, interesting here to see what people outside of the U.S. are thinking about this.
Yeah, so everyone has an opinion, but I guess we'll just have to see how things unfold here. So.
All right, we're back with your First One forecast right after this.